Good evening, Pumakapa viewers. Good evening, Amaqhawe Etu supporters. Welcome to our program that we always have here on the channel 260 from 5 to 6 p.m. on Wednesday. As you all know, my name is Yongamela Manene. I'm the host for this program. I have different people that come to share their stories of their journey on the liberation heritage. We are all about liberation heritage, nothing else. And we want to hear these stories told by the people that were involved, not from writers that were not there. Today, I'm having a guest that is going to introduce himself to us. Molo Puti. Yamkelekile enkolomeni. Sicela uzazise ubungubani na.
Okay. Mandithabathe elithuba ndizibulisele apha ke ku Amaqhawe Ethu Foundation.
Thank you.
Ngokuthi ke nindimeme nizothi ndisherishe kwakunye nani ke my political journey as a young person in this country known as Azania. My name is Fundile Mafungusi, and I was born in a village called Qonce.
Okay.
In the Eastern Cape. I was born in the early 60s. I come from a very poor background family, a working class family. I understand when you talk about poverty, what is it that you are talking about, poverty? I understand and I know the feeling of sleeping without the necessary food, even going to school barefooted. I have that experience. So njengoba ku-commemorate June the 16th. So to me, it's not Youth Day, because I have a feeling we, especially in the Black Consciousness Movement, we call it the National Day of Resistance and Student Revolt, because it was more about challenging the system of colonialism and racism in Azania.
Oh, niyazivela ke baphulaphula uthini ke uBhutfundile. Secacisile nendlela yena upolitiki alibona ngalo nendlela alazi ngalo. Umntana omqoba ngumAzania. As you name it, a month of
National Day of Resistance and Student Revolt. That is a month of national resistance and student revolt.
Yes. Around about what time were you started being politically active as a young person?
I started to be conscientized by political events in our country in 1976. I think one of the incidents that conscientized me, it was when my younger brother, Uzola Mafungusi, who is no more now, let his soul rest in eternal peace, but he must rise with me and the Black Consciousness Movement when we confront the racist, the colonialist and capitalist system. So that was the period. But I think when I went to KwaZakhele High School, that was the turning point, because I began to understand this animal called oppression, political oppression. I began to understand this animal called economic exploitation. I began to understand this animal called racism. I began to understand this animal of black life being cheap. And I think at that time there were also student leaders like Abo Mbuzeli Dukumbana, who are no more today. Abo Mbuyiseli Mahlati. There was also Lita, is it Mlahleki?
Okay.
Yeah, Mlahleki, yeah. There were also people even about Saki Machozom. They were there, they were inspiring us. But at the same time, most of these young students, young leaders, were also inspired by an organization which was called the South African Student Movement, SAZIM, I think, which was established in 1972. They used to give us flyers, although some of these flyers, they were written in English. So, but you had to consult with people to say, just explain as but I think at that time, motivator more is when these leaders, they were citing poems, how poems were used as a weapon to mobilize people. Still remember they were reciting a poem, Africa, my beginning, Africa, my ending.
Wow.
So I think those were some of Ezinto. And I think it was West Kenguku when those students were arrested in 1976. And I was also there a day before their arrest. But I think there was one, because if you remember at that time, they were harassed by students. I think there was one person, one leader, maybe unconsciously he made a reckless statement to say all those leaders who are being harassed by the state, the only way that they to hide, because some of them they were hiding, they said, no, if we are at school, we will not be arrested. I think maybe at that time the level of political consciousness and also the issue of security was not at the high ebb. And as a result, some of them go baham, they went to school, balala enansiken kwazakhele. That's where they were arrested, Kingu. Yeah,
it's very interesting.
Yeah,
it's very interesting story.
Yes. Yeah.
No, you mentioned something earlier on that your younger brother got you involved or one way or the other.
Yeah.
And you did not finish that. Can you share with the viewers your younger brother?
Yeah, no.
May you so rest in peace. I share with you the
thing. Uzola Mafungos was my younger brother. Umama requested him to go and buy Uluso, Njoli. There's an area called Njoli here in PE. He was with his friend Munai. So apha ngakulenda kuthiwa kwamvala, so ke ngoku amapolisa, that is a security, even the army, they were dispersing abantu using tear gas, using as a pellets. So he then ran ke ngoku. I think kuyo la process ke ngoku he was shot ke ngoku and pellets. And some of those pellets, they also remained in his body even when he died. And this happened at an early age of his life. He was 14 years of age. He was then arrested, and then he was then kept in a New Brighton police station. So he was then narrating to me after his release, because he spent a lot of time there. He spent a lot of time. So my mother, because at that time, some of them, they said, no, especially the police, they were trying to influence him to say, for him to be released, he must confess to say he had thrown a stone to the police. If he does so, then he will be simply given some lashes. But I think some of the conscious leaders who were there, they advised him that, no, this is a trap. Don't fall into that trap, because if now you confess things that you have not done, you will not be released, but you will be jailed. I think my mother went to court, and because she was at that time requested to come up with a proof to say this person, Zola Mafungosi, is not 16 or 17 years. He was 14 at that time. And indeed, he was released. He was released. But I think what also inspired at that time, when he came back...
Let's hold this.
Yeah.
You hear yourself, you was a 14-year-old being made to come up and confess to have thrown a stone, which he did not do. She was just sent uba makayothenga ulusu khona ukuze ifamily itye. This is the story of our liberation heritage. This is the story of our youth. Enkosi kakhulu bhuti, ungaqhubekeka usibalisele kwenzeka ntoni?
So what then inspired me is that after he's released, he used to sing songs that they sang whilst they were in prison. And one of that song was Isithi Sono Sethu Ubumnyama, Sono Sethu Ubumnyama, Seningalivumi Hello Chala, Seningalivumi Hello Chala.
Yes.
So I think when his cellmates who were the leaders at that time, bimbonisa ba no suyivuma lento, because if you ivuma, you are going to jail. So ndamuthi ke ngoku ezinye zezinto mna endicinga ukuthi ke they were important in my life, because one was now able to link le theory umntu ayifumeneyo ne-reality. So those youth leaders of 1976 who were influenced by the ideas of Stephen Bantu Biko, they could now connect i-reality yabo yentlupheko kwakunye nale theory ye-liberation. I am saying ukuthi together with indaba inantsika ye-poetry, zezinye zezinto ke ngoku ezo endicinga uba ke zaye zandifundisa. Now at that time ke ngoku you also had to rely heavily on information, political education uyifumanayo, because most of the political literature at that time was banned.
Yes.
And at the same time ke ngoku nokwenza ke i-analysis of zezinye yezinto bungakwazi ukuyenza on your own. But umamela lento uyichazelayo, but digest, and uzama ucheckisa ukuthi ingaba iyalinka kwakunye ne-experience yam, iyalinka kwakunye ne-understanding yam ye-history of the world. So ndizama ukuthi ngoku those are some of the things. And then ngoku having inspired by those leaders in 1976, there came a moment in my history where one had now to really identify himself with the struggle for liberation. But this happened at a time when I was a student, KwaZakhele. And there were also other people who were also eager to be part of the vehicle liberation. And I then came across with people like Abo Zola Mtatsi.
Yes.
Abo Tango Labani, Abo Andile Chibilika. There were a host of young people who then indicated to us, no, there is a need for us to form our own vehicle as young people. That's where an organization called COSAS emerged.
Just before that, your brother has been shot. He's got jailed.
Yeah, he was released.
No,
okay.
He was jailed.
Yeah, okay.
He was shot. He had pellets in his body.
Yeah.
And instead of you saying, hey man, iyabethisa lento, iyadubulisa lento, you further want to understand and make sense of many things, as you mentioned. You go into COSAS. I just wanted, you go into COSAS with all this history.
Yeah, yes.
What were you thinking?
No, I felt at that time that the blood of my brother, which was spilled in the dusty streets of KwaZakhele, cannot die in vain. So I needed I think to me that was a call.
Okay. So your brother died at 14?
No, he did not die.
Okay.
I'm saying the blood, okay. The blood, because if you shoot a person, it's a declaration of war. You want that person to be dead. So I'm saying that blood of his, which fell at Nzoli, so inspired me to forge ahead and be part of the revolutionaries in this country.
Okay.
So, but I think having been part
Formation of COSAS.
of ICOSAS, then I was happy to be part of people who wanted also a revolution, a change in this country. So we proceeded with COSAS, and thereafter, I think it was 1979, 1980, took all of us, we were involved practically now in the fight against the racist and colonialist education. We were also in furtherance of those struggles of 1976.
Okay. 1979 in COSAS. Any specific role, or when did you start being any role that you played in COSAS?
I think in one of the meetings, I was then elected as the secretary. I was elected. I think abantu abafana nabo Tango, Lamani, they were also part of that team,
Executive.
of that executive. Abantu abafana nabo Zola Mtatsi, and others.
Yes.
So another time there was unity amongst us. And I think another thing that I must emphasize, which is very critical. As we were moving on in this struggle, I then realized that we were not a homogeneous group. There were those who were, in terms of their ideological affiliation, inclination, they were Pan-Africanist.
Okay.
Like Abo Remember and Tlabat, Abo Andile Chibilika. Even Uzola Mtatsi. Uzola Mtatsi was a Pan-Africanist.
That's that.
The very fellow called Mkhuseli Jack was a Pan-African. I still remember Mkhuseli Jack meeting me, Uzola Mtatsi, and also Comrade Ngobo Nguna, who was one of the leaders of the Black Consciousness movement. In one of the crises in education, he then said, comrades, Mina, I think I must embrace the Freedom Charter movement.
Okay.
You must join the ANC. But we said, no, okay, that's your democratic right, if I can use these concepts that we used to do. But now, so he's moving that side. Okay, that was his democratic right. But I think the turning point now, I then also realized that there were also within us who declared that they are members of the Africanist Congress.
Okay.
And I think one of those people who used to work with us, it was Comrade Uwantu Zenzile. Yeah.
Okay.
Uwantu Zenzile.
Yes.
And I think at that time, I was informed that he passed on, but let his soul rest in peace.
Yes.
He used to say, no. He's a loyalist of O.R. Tambo, not to Mandela. You still know most
all the dynamics.
Those politics. But I think the turning point to me, it was when there was a tour of students from Johannesburg.
Yes. Thank you very much. We're going to come back and hear about this tour of students from Johannesburg. Today we are having Uputfundile Mafongosi sharing about his times as a youth leader. Namhlanje ke ndino about Fundile Mafongosi obalisa ngebali lakhe. Usishiya ke esithi babe netour ebheka eGauteng okanye iGauteng lalize eGqeberha. Uzawuqhubekeka ke. Khawuqhubekeke ngale tour yanenza naba nazi izinto okanye nabona izinto.
No, I think that was in 1981 when kukhona a group of students visitele KwaZakhele High School. Okay. And now being a student leader, we went there, no Comrade Upei Panqale, let his soul rest in peace. to get more experience, more knowledge, what is happening in Johannesburg. And we met a fellow there called Ali Mpaki, who introduced himself as a Pan-Africanist. And at that time, we told them, good worry, COSAS. Then the engagement started there. And he then began to introduce to us, no, if you are a COSAS, you must understand is pursuing the line of the ANC, and the ANC believes by Freedom Charter, and so on. Then the discussions started there. Then in our discussion, we went much more deeper in understanding this Freedom Charter. And after their visit, we went to Comrade Ngobo Nguna. We discussed with Shed Kwakunyenat. Then that's where the issue of having discussed thoroughly the implications of the Freedom Charter in our liberation struggle. Then we delinked, we said, no. More especially, there is a clause, South Africa belongs to all who live in it, both black and white. I think that was the critical point, because historically, that is not the reality.
At that time, you are the secretary for COSAS.
For COSAS.
Okay.
And thereafter, we then took a decision to say we are resigning, both myself as Comrade Paper, kwakunye nezinye ze comrades that we delinked. We then working towards the formation of what is called the Azanian student movement, which
Before
was
that, okay. I'm interested in your experiences as a COSAS leader, collectively, and what highlights were there in at that stage. For an example, you're mentioning Uzola. Mafongos, who was shot at 14, jailed at 14. Because you were in politics, were you ever subjected to being detained, harassed, and all those kind of things as a youth?
No. I must say that during the school boycotts, which we started in 1980, myself, together with other comrades, we were arrested on several occasions. Sasiwa in what is called Algoa. And at that time, you'll remember, it was a detention without Nansika trial. I think we spent some weeks there. And then that's where we were subjected to physical assault at times, because I think the aim was to demobilize us. Ukuthi ke singabi inxalenye inansika yomzabalazo. At the same time, they will be also dawn raids, endless dawn raids. And as a result, that was also putting a lot of pressure to the family. Then the family said, no, we cannot stomach lento manje uzobiza amapolisa. Uzakubulala amapolisa. Yeah, so we call pressure. But there was a moment when they invaded, they came to my place, they took the organizational documents. So the security. Then I reported Lendokobo Comrade, funding as documents, the organizations have been taken.
What documents are this?
The minutes.
Oh, okay.
You also, being the secretary, you have records like minutes. There are also membership forms abantu who have joined the organization and so on. Attendance register, as a stamp, one is stamps So I then said to these comrades, no. Let's go there. Those boys, they were here about 13. Let's go there. And you could see at that time, they did not understand this thing. I think that was also another element on my part and others, which indicated at that time, that's when I have the element of fear, I have conquered the fear.
Is it?
Yeah, we were able to confront them. Then with our Comrade Otango, Laman, then Comrade Tango phoned them to say, we want those documents. And I think the system, they were very shocked for the first time. Ukufumana call eti bazofumana document, and I think ultimately they gave us those documents. So that on its own, it inspired us and it demonstrated ukuthi if people are yearning for liberation yabo, they can attain it depending on how they make those sacrifices.
You are mentioning something very important, conquering of fear.
Yeah.
And were you consciously aware that you've conquered fear, or is it something that you realized later?
You know, I think Zabalazo, ukwenza, because of experience, what had happened. Remember, quite a number of students were killed in prison. But there are a whole host of them. So at the same time, there was also a song which was sung. It's a PAC song. Dicela isibin sokuncamu bomi bam.
Wow.
Dilandela abaninzi abafele dabini.
Yes.
So those songs, revolutionary songs, the poetry, they will always inspire. I still remember also there was a moment when there was a conference which was supposed to be held in Durban. I think it was 1980. But we were arrested in Mthatha. We were arrested in Mthatha. When we were arrested, I think Nobozola Mthatha, they were there, Obo Mzolisi Jasi. The first thing that we did when we were arrested, it was on a Friday. Conference started Saturday, Yapela Sunday. We were arrested in Mthatha. We declared we are on hunger strike. I still remember Mzolisi Jasi said, no. You call the But we were able to influence, because at that time we were demanding the immediate release, immediate release. But we stayed there Friday, Saturday, then we were released on Monday, unconditional.
Wow.
So
the system just destroyed the conference, the attendance here in the Congress.
Yeah.
Without
the participation. But at the same time, whilst it was there, we were not using land or just uhlala, but we then began a process of training. Because I think when you are arrested, and so on, the only way you circumvent is to be involved in the physical training, is to be involved in the political discussions. So I think there's and thereafter, if you allow me to move on, having established with our comrade paper, organization called the Azanian Student Movement, I think there are quite a number of that we did. Because now you had an opportunity now to be in an organization that espouses the philosophy of black consciousness. An organization dilute your messages will not be diluted, because as it was embracing everybody, the Pan-Africanist, the black consciousness adherents, and also the Freedom Charter. So it was a potpourri organization, but one had an opportunity to work towards organizing young people around ideas of Steve Biko. We established in Nansika Azasim, that was 1983. After having established Azasim in 1983, remember also the struggles for equality and transformative education did not end there. We then pushed in the recognition of the Student Representative Council.
There you have it, viewers. Uput Fundile is sharing his involvement. He's talking about conquering fear as youth then. Thanks for tuning in. You are watching Amakhawe Eto Foundation program, which deals with liberation heritage. Today we are having Uput Fundile Mafongosi, Azania, Africa. Akanasduko ke yena. Africa, unemvile esitsho ababebukele. Welcome back, Buti. Formation of SRCs. What were these SRCs about? Why did you have to form SRCs? And what was the purpose? And are those SRCs still relevant today? Can you share with us?
No, I think in the formation of SRCs was to create a platform for his students but debate issues as confronta bona, so as to replace. If you remember, at that time there was what was called school prefect system,
yes,
which was a toy-like structure. It was not a voice. They concentrated kakhulu indlela enidressa ngayo, indaba ye uniform, not understanding ba aba bantu the very bantu theda ngabo ngempahla. They come from a poor background family. Parents, they do not have the money to buy the school uniform. So we were trying but I think we used a strategy. Myself, uZola Mtatsi, uPepa Ncale, Mkhuseli Jack noLamane. In one of the meetings, despite the fact that we were members of the Azanian student movement now, but the connection between us, it never died.
Yes.
I still remember when we wanted to force the principal and the school management, Sakwa Zakhele High School, by reorganize. We had to write a letter. We met the three of us, uZola, uPepa Ncale, myself. We wrote a letter to Obo SRC. Already it was established. Ekhaweni Mkhuseli Jack. Sathela Mkhuseli Jack noLamane noThango Lamane. Now remember at that time, if you still remember, guess our Wednesdays, kwakubakho is school sports.
Yes.
So we said on the day of sports, kwakuzadlala iKhaweni neKwaZakhele High School, irugby, netball, eWilson Stadium. Then they then said, okay, I volunteered to go to eKhaweni during school break. So I handed over a letter which was calling upon players in SRC eKhaweni not to play with uKwaZakhele because uKwaZakhele High School did not allow us to establish SRC. Indeed, players, the school teachers, nabanye abantu from other schools, they went to Wilson Stadium. When they arrived there, eKhaweni was not there. Then the following day, the principal said, no. Yeah, kukhona lo mafongos, we have had kukhona lo mafongos who have stopped this match. Then people were called into the assembly. And I explained the rationale why we wanted a school representative council, because he body of his students to champion their own demands. The principal uCilishana declared on that day that KwaZakhele High School, SRC has been
established,
accepted. Then he went further and said, if you want to go to these meetings of yours, you can also use this vehicle of mine. So that there was that collaboration between us. But I don't know the collaboration is now. But I think having done so, I think what to me is important at that time, the main priority, which was, I'm not going to talk about other issues, because there are quite a number of things that one was involved. If you remember, about 1984, there was the Koronov bills.
Yes.
Myself, Nabo Comrade Paper, under Nantika, under Azapo, we were also involved in those campaigns, going to the so-called colored areas, conscientizing about, no, this is it's another form of a Bantustan. Therefore, let us not allow our country to be balkanized into tribal and ethnicity cocoons. Therefore, let us strive and fight for a unitary state of Azania, where there will be no balkanization of the country. So those were some of the campaigns one was also involved in.
As youngsters.
As a youngster.
And the challenges faced by youngsters at that stage.
Yeah.
No cell phones. No, you had to write a letter during break.
Yeah,
I don't know whether what Tatu Chicken has one.
No. We used to hike.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to hitchhike.
You did not WhatsApp it to Cowan High School.
I hitchhiked and I went there and I came back. I reported to Comrade Paper and also Comrade uZola Mtatsi. We said, let's keep it amongst ourselves. It was Thango Lamane, Mkhuseli Jack, and the three of us. That's why they went to the stadium, hoping the game is there. Whereas now we knew there is no game. Yeah.
The power of youth to make sure that they are rights are recognized,
Yes.
and the collaboration of youth,
Yes.
because we're all youngsters. Nobody
irrespective of one's political affiliation,
Yes.
we were able to see each other as black brothers and black sisters, because in this sidibanisayo sidityaniswa yi-oppression, sidityaniswa yi-exploitation, sidityaniswa indaba ye-poverty nehunger. Those were the critical challenges that were facing young people at that time. And at the same time, one of the things that we were also doing as young people was to encourage each other to be involved in the sport,
Yes.
to be involved in the poet. And among other people who was also killed in 1984, Ufezile Chume, at the age of 27, because he was also involved in the theatre, together with my comrade Bafana Nabo. Charles Mbikwana.
Okay.
Yeah, Charles Mbikwana.
Yes. The interesting part in what you are raising, as a young person then, there was so much involvement in community issues. There was so much activities involved in that were people-centered. You mentioning that you challenge the Kornoff bill and making sure that it does not exist. I mean, it does not happen. Although it happened, but you challenged it. What can you share with our youth today, Behleli emakhaya, about this? What can they do in their challenges? Because our youth is faced with challenges of GPV, challenges of drug abuse, challenges of... They are not seldomly involved in community issues. I mean, what can you say to them? I'm giving you an opportunity to talk to our youth.
No, I think, to me, what is very critical is for young people in this country called Azania to understand the problems that they are confronted with today, the problem of drugs, the problems of alcohol abuse, the problems of unemployment,
Yes.
the problems of hunger. These are man-made problems. It is the system of colonialization, more especially the system of capitalism, where the wealth of the country is owned by the few, and the majority of the Azanian masses, they don't own anything. And eyona interest of the owners of capital, the captains of industry, is to maximize a profit. And therefore, what is important at this hour is for us to raise a political and a class consciousness of our people, especially young people, to understand what the problem abafisa nayo, it is systematic.
Yakuva put. As we're going on break, uyayibeka indlela yengxaki esinazo solutsha namhlanje. Unamava ke. He has experienced a lot. Maybe. For those that are joining us, today we are talking about a youth in the 1970s, 80s, pre-liberation. Today we're having Uput Fundile, abanye bambiza Rev, wakwamafongozi, sibiza Azania, ungumntana omqoba, walapha ePayi, kwazakhele, ukhulele, uzivile zonke izinto. Ababehleli nathi bamvile ebalisa ubanjwa kwakhe, involvement yakhe, where they stop a whole match. Himself, together with Pepa Nxale and Khoseli Jack, Solam Tadzi, they stop a whole match. People wanted to go and play, but they stopped them because they're demanding SRCs then. He's still sharing with us his journey as a youth leader, his journey as an Azania, again, his journey as a liberation fighter, and advising the youth how did they manage to do those things without SMS, WhatsApp, taxis. They were hiking or running. I wish to come back with him to do some poetry, because he does talk a lot about poems. Do you do poems?
Yeah, no, at one stage, bakhe basifundisa bofeya of izilethumo, because that is also another area sasithi ke abantu they must be trained on, use theater as a liberation tool and instrument for a conscientization of our people.
Give us a paragraph.
Hey, okay, the other
Some
day.
other
Yeah,
time.
some other time. Yeah.
Tell us,
Okay.
you were telling the youth on the issues. How did they come about? Are there, because currently we are sitting in this current dispensation, does it mean that we're going to wait for another liberation, or how do we do things currently going forward?
I think in the end, you know, it's about us working on the psychological liberation of young people and make them to understand why they find themselves with problems, bakuzo, into about the drugs, alcohol, and so on. They need to understand that it is the system of capitalism, neo-colonialism, engunozala wazo ezi zinto.
Can you unpack it? How do we do it practical? Talk about practical terms on this. Unfortunately, we have time.
Yeah. Okay. I think one of the things we encourage to young people is to facilitate the processes for the establishment of the cooperatives. And then cooperatives enjongo zazo umzekelo we can have indaba ze farming cooperative, business cooperatives, and use those cooperatives to raise indaba consciousness yabantu. Use also those cooperatives to link young people to the state, so that the state must make resources available to young people, so that benokwazi ukuthi siz address these issues. Another area esinokuthi siyenze is to from time to time organize symposiums,
yes,
educational workshops, sizodilisana kakunye what are the causes ezibangela kubekho ezi drugs,
challenges,
ezi challenges facing. I think so zezinye zezinto ngozo, and ke that on its own you will then begin to see the emergence of young people, militant, who are able to challenge the status quo. You'll remember in this country, some of the people, they were very shocked. Uguti, at that time, we were very young. There was the international tournament, which was held Standard Bank Arena.
yes,
Tennis. I was leading those groups. We stopped that international tournament for an hour. When I came back, I still remember the Dibana no Nanzika no Comrade of Africa. Yeah. He then said, "Hey, comrade, we saw you. Keep on." Although he knew that I'm a member of the Black Consciousness. Also, even here in PE, if you still remember, Butarasmas Stadium.
yes.
There was also the cricket tournament. We went there. We stormed that because it was part of isolation of South Africa. We felt at that time as young people, but there is no way that you can pretend as if in South Africa it is normal, whereas it is not normal. What I'm trying to say is that young people, let us not label them as abantu benyaupe. No. Siba labelishe as amapara. No. They are what you call them as amapara. It is because they are a product of a system of capitalism, and therefore let's unpack the system yabo capitalism, so that sizo understand aba bantu aba banokwazi ukuthi baziphilele through indaba yinantsika ye cooperatives. Umzekelo, even my old lady in the olden days, he used to be part of Uzenzele. That on its own was a cooperative ezama ku encourage self-awareness, ezama ukuthi ke promote indaba yantoni ye self-esteem. So those are some of the things that young people, they must be informed, rather than sifune ukuba blackmailer sifuna ukuthi sibenze ikheso. They are our own brothers and sisters. They need us so that siba assist in liberating their minds.
Thank you very much. Viewers, you hear for yourself. Stop calling Amapara. Stop labeling these youngsters. As parents, I think a message that Ubao Mafongos is saying is that let us be involved with our kids. Let us improve them. He's talking about psychological liberation. Personally, I feel that it starts with loving yourself, loving your country, loving your people, and change yourself for better. Yes, we are still, the struggle continues, a luta continua. Your parting shot in 1 minute.
My parting shot is that let us not give up. Let us create conditions for organizations of the left to unite, especially the historical organization like the Black Consciousness Movement, the Pan-Africanist Congress, also with the Unity Movement. We can incorporate other leftist organizations today like ABO, EFF, so that we are able to sit down and craft the path for the building of a socialist state in our country. And by so doing, I understand some of them, they say, no, they have, it's not real. But I believe that we have a problem of land. The land continues to be in the hands of the few, especially the multinational corporations. We must intensify the war, the liberation war, for a reconquest of our land, the reconquest of the economy, so that we ensure as is and we can use the resources to eliminate the poverty, inequalities, and unemployment.
Thank you very much, Potfundil. We heard him. He is putting it that liberation organizations, those that have been there in the trenches, including the new political parties that are associated with the left, there needs to be a mixture. From the youth of the 70s, 80s to the current youth. Love yourself, take care of yourself, and start uniting to fight hunger, poverty, including corruption. May forge these bonds in order to emulate and start walking the walk of the youth of 1976. My name is Yongamela Manene. On behalf of Amaqhawe Ethu, we would like to thank Impuma Kapa TV for hosting us, and our guest would like to thank Uput Mafongose to have come and shared his experiences as youth, supporters, and those that are behind the scenes. Thank you very much for always supporting us. Amaqhawe Ethu ayabulela. Thank you.
Sing about roses, black brother man. I cannot sing about roses, black brother man, because roses are red. They are red like the blood of black people who were killed and massacred in 1960 on the 21st of March in Sharpeville and Kuala. I cannot sing about roses, black brother men, because roses are red like the blood of Onkgopotse Abraham Tiro, who was killed by the racist police and the racist regime on the 1st of February 1972 in Botswana. Black men, I cannot sing about roses. Roses are red like the blood of the students who were killed, about the blood of black people who were killed on the 16th of June 1976. Brother man, I cannot sing about roses. Roses are red like the blood of Comrade Stephen Banduliko, who was killed by the racist and the colonialist regime on the 12th of September 1977. Black man, I cannot sing about roses. black brother men, because roses are red like the blood of the freedom fighters who were killed in exile, who were killed in Azania. I'm talking about the freedom fighters of the Azanian National Liberation Army, the freedom fighters of the Azanian People's Army. I'm talking about the freedom fighters of Umkhonto weSizwe. Black brother men, I cannot sing about roses. Black brother men, I cannot sing about roses, because the roses are red like the blood of our people who were killed by the neo-colonialist and capitalist regime on the 12th of August 2012 at Marikana. Black brother men, I cannot sing about roses, because roses are red like the blood of our ancestors who were killed by the settlers when they landed in the shores of Azania as far back as 1652. Black brother men, I cannot sing about roses. Roses are red like the blood of our forefathers who were killed in this country. Mandla.